Hi guys, right, so this is going to be super fast because I'm running out of light. Just wanted to quickly film a quick video talking about some fragrances that I've been trying from a subscription service that I'm part of, Unique You, which provides decants and samples of niche fragrances that are hard to get, and they have a lot of fragrances on their website that we can't actually get over here in Australia. Certainly not to sample or test. So it's really good to be able to access these fragrances through a subscription service. Anyway, let's get started. So I have 6 here that I want to share. These aren't all of the ones that I have. These are just the ones that I haven't really spoken about yet. And they're really, they're different. I hadn't even heard of these fragrances before, a lot of these. So yeah, that's why I chose these particular ones to talk about today. So the first one I want to talk about is Liquid's Imaginaires. Sancti. Sorry, the light's not so great. This one just came through last week, but as we're kind of trying to self-isolate at the moment, I haven't been to the perfumery, obviously, because they're not open anyway, to go and actually smell this in person. So this is kind of the thing that really struck me about this one when I first sprayed it on my skin was that it is quite it seemed to me to be dry, spicy. So I had an image of lots of powdered dry spices, effectively. But it is also quite balsamic, and that comes about more on the paper, I think. But when I put it on my skin, there is a sort of a dry, sort of grassy, maybe not grassy, but definitely a dryness to this fragrance in the spices. And yeah, that's sort of why I get the vibe of dried spices and just being, sticking my head in a cupboard where you've got a heap of dried spices stored. And it's a little bit smoky as well, which I really like. It has, some citrus in there, and it's definitely, balsamic and peppery. There's also cardamom, nutmeg and coriander in this. Anyway, so it's really beautiful. It smells quite exotic. Sorry, I'm just lost in my thoughts smelling this. And yeah, I really like it. I haven't decided whether I want to buy a full bottle of it yet, but that's okay, because normally the bottles that I really end up loving are the ones that I really had to think about. And even if I don't want a full bottle, it's okay too. I have an 8ml decant, so that'll keep me going. All right, number 2. Hang on. I'd never heard of this house before. This is called Roberto Ugolini. So I'm guessing it must be Italian. And the fragrance is called Kitten Heel, which so I'm not gonna lie, I kind of picked this one just because I liked the name. And I'm just going to turn some lights on here because I feel like I'm already losing too much light. All right, so I'm back. Yeah, so this one, is interesting. It sort of opens like a bubblegummy tuberose fragrance. So when I first sprayed this, it smelled like a really bubblegummy tuberose right in those first few seconds, but very quickly it became quite balsamic and spicy and a little bit sort of resiny, I guess. And then after about 10 minutes or maybe 15-20 minutes on my skin, I remember it sort of got this real biscuity kind of vibe to it. So I was wondering if it was a gourmand. I mean, I'm not sure. I'm not sure I'm in love with this one. I'll have to wear it some more, I guess. The next one is by a house called Caron, and it's called Aimez-Moi. Oh, I'm sure I just butchered that completely. I'm sorry, you can't really see these very well. I'm trying to get the light right so you can see. But anyway, This one is by Dominique Ropion. So that's kind of why I got this one, because I'm obviously familiar with the work that he's done with Frederic Malle's fragrances, and I was really curious. I do like some of his fragrances, so I was curious about this one, even though I'd never heard of the house. This is a powdery green fragrance, and it's got a lot of floral notes. I actually did look up the notes for this one a while back, and I think when I bought it, and the list of floral notes in there was as long as your arm. There was so many. What actually put me over the edge to get this as my monthly subscription though was the fact that it had violet leaf in it, and I have discovered lately that there are quite a few fragrances that I've really been drawn to because they have violet leaf in them. So this, and again, it's not really coming across on paper, but when I put this on my skin, this smelled to me like it was really green, but the opening was kind of wet. It smelled wet, like you've walked out into the garden, or you can smell is like the rain on all of the leaves of your plants. There's not so much of a soil aspect to this wetness, but it smells like wet leaves basically, but fresh wet leaves, not wet leaves that have been sitting on the ground for a while and are dying and sort of like fermenting. It's kind of like fresh rain on green fresh leaves that are still attached to the plant, and petals on it. It smells like rain on flower petals and leaves basically. In the mid, I remember I got cardamom. There was a cardamom note that really started to come to the surface, and it still smelled kind of wet and green. And I'm not sure, there are woody notes in here, and I'm not sure that I really get the woods either on paper or on my skin. Maybe they're just there to provide a bit more depth perhaps. But this dries down to be a really creamy floral, really creamy green floral fragrance. And it kind of reminds me a little bit of Champs-Élysées by Guerlain, but with more green notes added. So not just the florals. I feel like this isn't a powerhouse fragrance, but it is something you could probably wear to the office or around other people. And it's probably something that'd be quite pleasant to wear on a spring day. But you gotta like smelling like wet leaves or wet petals, just saying. The next one is by Simone Andre, and it's called Camouflage. And I really like this one just because of the color of the juice. Look at that. It's really dark. It's massively dark. And it did actually kind of stain the paper as well when I sprayed it on there. So note to self, if you ever do wear this, don't wear it with light clothing, or spray yourself first and then put your clothing on when it's dry. This is a really pretty rose oud fragrance. It's not a syrupy rose oud like Oud Bouquet. It doesn't have all of the sweet notes in it. It's actually quite woody. So it's a woody oud with the rose, and it seems actually pretty simple when I smell it. It's not skanky at all. It's really nice. It's not too heavy. I wore it to bed the other night and I was kind of thinking, oh, I wish I'd put something else on because I wanted something a bit more sweeter and heavier. But this is really pleasant. And yeah, I'm thinking I may want to upgrade to a full bottle of this, but I need to get through the decant first. So see how it goes. And again, I sort of think, well, how many rose oud fragrances do I need to have? Because I already have, you know, at least 3, I think. So maybe it's not a necessity. But it's kind of a spicy rose oud. It's not too spicy though. I really feel like it's quite simplistic, and that's what it's going for. And it is actually, oh, hang on, I should smell on the paper. Yeah. Rose oud. It's nice. I really like it actually. Oh God, I just smelled it again and now I just really like it even more. So maybe I will, maybe this is a full bottle worthy fragrance for me. The next one, Xerjoff, Erba Pura. So I was introduced to this fragrance by my friend Emma. She loves this fragrance. And on paper, I really love this fragrance too. So it's fruity. It's a fruity fragrance. It's supposed to have lots of citrus in it, and I get that. But I feel like there's a passion fruit note in here that is not listed. It smells like passion fruit to me. It's really nice on the test strip for me. But when I put it on my skin, something happens to it and it's awful. Now, when I say awful, I mean it's awful in that there is something else that seems to come out, and it's really synthetic and it's really acrid and pungent, and it really just gets in my nose. It is like when you've put too much bleach on the tiles in your bathroom when you're cleaning the bathroom and the fumes get into your nose. That is what it's like. This smells like I've really literally just burned my nostrils with too much bleach. Yeah, I'm not a fan on my skin. It smells bad. In fact, when I put it on, and my partner came into the room, I don't know, probably an hour later, and he's going, "What's that smell?" And I went, "What do you mean?" And he goes, "It smells like a hippie's house with cat piss all over it or something along those lines." And I just went, "Oh yeah, I think that smells." So yeah, if it smelled like it did on paper on my skin, it would be beautiful. I think whatever it is that's giving me that vibe that I don't like is actually what makes this a real powerhouse fragrance. It projects amazingly, and I think it has a really good sillage trail as well, but it's just not working for me. And in fact, it gave me a massive headache, and I sprayed once here and once here. I didn't overspray because I was testing it, and I had a massive headache. I ended up having to go have a shower to wash it off about 2 hours later because I could not get any work done. It was horrible. Luckily, I'm working from home at the moment. So yeah, that was Xerjoff Erba Pura. It's a fail for me. It's a no for me. I do have another fragrance that has a passion fruit note in it, and that is Cassiopeia by Tiziana Terenzi, and that is absolutely stunningly beautiful. So I can be happy with my Cassiopeia and just leave this one to the side because it's not going to work for me ever. The last one is also another Xerjoff one, and it's 1861 Renaissance. This is a citrus, freshy, and it's had rave reviews, which is why I decided to get the decant. I've heard lots of good things about this, and I concur. I really like this. This smells to me, my immediate impression of this when I tried it was that it smells like fruit juice. So it smells like, you know how when you smell a citrus fragrance, a lot of the time it smells like the zest of the fruit. This smells like the juice of the fruit. So it smells like freshly squeezed lemon juice with no sugar added. So it's not, the thing I like about it is that it's not a sweet citrus fragrance. It's just a really fresh, juicy citrus fragrance. And yeah, I'm really liking this a lot actually. I haven't worn it recently on my skin. I actually got this decant last year, but I haven't spoken about it very much, and I haven't really worn it that much, so I need to revisit it because I actually really like this a lot. So there you go. There is my whirlwind review of 6 fragrances I have recently, well, sort of recently, acquired from Unique You. And all right, I'll leave it at that and have a wonderful week. I may try and do a midweek video this week. We'll see. I am still working full-time from home, so I am very lucky and blessed in that I do get to work full-time from home. Anyway, I'll see how I go. I'll try. Okay, bye.